In this lesson, you will multiply matrices. In matrix multiplication, you can't just multiply the corresponding entries in matrices. Instead, you need to think of it as row by column multiplication, meaning you're going to take your first row and multiply it by your first column. So A times E plus B times G, that's going to give you your first row, first column answer. Next, you're going to move on to first row, second column, and you'll do A times F plus B times H, and that answer will go in the first row, second column position. After you multiply the first row by everything, then you're going to move on to the second row. So second row, first column, C times E plus D times G. And that answer is going to go in the second row, first column. And then we're going to do the second row by the second column, CF plus DH. That's going to go in the second row, second column. So let's go ahead and do this first example together. I'm going to go ahead and do the first row times the first column. First row times first column. So 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. And then 0 plus 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15, so 0 plus 15, that's what's going to go in the first row, first column. 0 plus 15 is 15. Now let's move on to first row, second column. Two times 1 is 2, and then 3 times 6 is 18. 2 plus 18 is 20. So first row, second column is going to be 20. Now we have to move on to the second row. Second row, first column. 4 times 0 is 0, and 7 times 5 is 35. 0 plus 35 is 35, so that's going to go in the second row, first column. And then we have to do second row, second column. Four times 1 is 4. 7 times 6 is 42. 4 plus 42 is 46, and that's going to go in the second row, second column. Now that was two matrices that had the same order. We can also perform multiplication on an m by n matrix and an n by p matrix. For the product of the two matrices to be defined, the number of columns of the first matrix must equal the number of rows of the second matrix. So if you write down the rows by columns, these two right here need to be equal, these middle ones. So like this right here is a 1 by 3. And this one is a 3 by 1. since these two numbers right here are the same, we can multiply them, and then our result is going to be a 1 by 1 matrix. So now if I want to find A times B, I'm going to go ahead and write it out. The answer to that is going to be a 1 by 1 matrix. And this one's actually a pretty simple one because we're going to take and do the first row by the first column. And that's all we have is one row and one column. So let's go ahead and do that math. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. And 3 times 6 is 18. And we're going to add those all together. 4 plus 10 plus 18, that's going to be 32. Now in our next example, we have a 2 by 2 and we have a 3 by 2. Since these two things do not match, this one is undefined. That's going to be the best part of your assignment when you get to what looks like maybe an obnoxious problem and you're not going to have to do a thing because it's undefined.